Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Wednesday, the 9th of December, 2020. I'm your host, the amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me at this ungodly hour. We got a fun show today. I've got Andy Hall from the Laughing in Disbelief blog over at Pathos. He's going to be joining me in just a minute. Links are down below. Nokasuchi from The Rage. He's having the internets today. He'll be in and out, in and out, in and out. He's blaming his router. It's all the prawn he's been surfing. Anyway, and we've also got Daniel Bennet from the Atheist Against Pseudoscience Nonsense website and Facebook page and YouTube. He's going to be here in just a minute, and it's going to be a fun show. Right after this, check out this. Beep this, my homie. Today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts a nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libtards would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP. All right, good morning, everybody. There we go. We got Daniel Bennet, Andy from the Laughing in Disbelief blog, and Nokasuchi the Rage is joining us this morning. Everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're all doing okay. Hola, Andy. We'll start with Andy. How you doing this morning, buddy?
It turns out that there is a major gift-giving holiday only a few weeks away.
Okay.
I'm woefully unprepared for it.
Oh, man. I hate gift-giving holidays.
Woefully.
Me too.
I think everyone is going to just be getting sticks of butter from me, maybe. I'm not sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. Hey, I'm envious. He's giving butter.
Definitely not panicking. I am not panicking at this point right now.
No, I usually panic like the day of or the day before. I'm usually pretty cool, calm, and collected up until that point. Then I'll be like, oh, look, I have an alert set. It's time to panic.
Yeah. It's so that's how I'm doing, Chris. That's how everything is just fine. Everything is fine, and maybe I just have to get on the late stage capitalist bandwagon and start buying crap for people.
Right after your depression nap. I understand. Good morning.
Yeah, my depression and my anxiety. They're all mixed together like in a jambalaya.
Are they? Gotcha. Hey, Nok, how's it going, man?
Oh, pretty good. I've got the internets back, and it wasn't even my router this time. It was some Michigander drove into a pole. The whole town lost the internet for all day. I went to bed last night, no internet. So played a lot of video games, but I'm back. So.
Was it the Wolverine Watchmen?
It could have been. Yeah, it could have been. They might have been in a hurry to get up to the Secretary of State's house, so.
Oh, I know. Oh, man. Oh, I made a short video about that yesterday. I just had to bang one out because,
yeah, I mean, they got tired of stalking the governor, so now they're going after the chief election official, so.
Yeah, apparently there's plenty of them. Yeah. They're just
they're everywhere. Yeah.
Hey,
everywhere.
Daniel, how you doing, buddy?
Joining us? I've had a cup of Christmas cheer before. It was disappointing. I'm doing great. I am. I actually have a very fantastic day coming up planned. We're going up to the mountains, and we're going to go play in the snow.
Awesome. I see the fishes. You get the fishes and kill the fishes, and then you eat the fishes.
Oh yeah, we eat the fishes and everything. I mean,
yeah, that's cool.
The beauties of living up in the Pacific Northwest. You guys have to pay for your salmon. I go out and get it.
Right. Oddly enough, the fish you catch, the biggest fish I used to catch are like the bait used to catch the fish you catch. Yours are like the size of my arm. And, I'd be like, look at that. It's like the length of my finger. I'm taking that baby home. That's just how.
You should see the things that I reel in spring then. Those are, I'm holding like this.
Oh, yeah.
When we do the halibut and the lingcod. Oof.
Yep.
Daniel, debunk this idea that salmon and all these fish have toxic levels of mercury and chemicals in them, because I am terrified about eating salmon and tuna, and of course I'm not a vegetarian now anyway. But even before I was a vegetarian, I'm like, I don't know, man. There seems to be a lot of mercury in fish.
So back in the day before the EPA, mercury was very prevalent in our water system, and it worked its way up the food system pretty easily. There are still, in some places, elevated levels of mercury in fish, but one of the ways mercury, if that is of a concern or if that's a hazard in the area, when you fillet your fish, there's that the bloody vein. That's actually the kidney. You need to make sure you completely remove the kidney along that area. Because that's where the majority of that heavy metal toxicity is, if it's present. You don't see it as much as you used to back in the day, but if you are someone like me who eats fish very regularly, multiple times a week, it would be something that you do need to make sure you take that extra precaution of if it's a concern. Where I live, it's not really that much of a concern, but I would say like you live. I would say like in somewhere on the East Coast, in inland waters, non-sea water, that would be a bit of a concern. So it's still a thing, but it's not as much of a thing as it was.
That's interesting. Well, it makes sense, of course, now that you said the smart words.
It's we created a lot of regulations, environmental regulations that did take care of that issue. Unfortunately, the last 4 years, the Trump administration's got rid of a lot of them. So we probably will see a spike back to some higher levels of mercury in fish. But hopefully one of the first things Biden is planning on doing is repealing a lot of those, or reinstating a lot of those environmental protections. So
yeah. Right now, I'm watching the shellfish, like the mollusks, very closely. They will be the first tattletale because they're filter feeders, and so if we start seeing our clams and oysters taking a hit, we will know that the firsthand effects of Trump's decisions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, to take it from the fish to the alien folk, let's turn it to the topic at hand, if you don't mind. I just thought I'd ask. Andy actually read the article. Daniel's probably aware of this sort of thing. I don't know if Nokasuchi's aware of it, but
I did read this article, but not I didn't see that you had sent it to me. I read it just naturally on Facebook because let me read that stupid stuff right there. So.
I should have messed my hair up, and I should have been holding my hands like this for this episode.
I don't have enough hair for that anymore.
All right, so for people who are listening and watching, if you're not aware of this, there was an Israeli professor who recently stated that yes, Virginia, aliens are real. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let me get to the news article. The news article's title here on Yahoo News, I believe that's the one that you sent me, Chris. I got a bunch of tabs open right now. Mm-hmm. But this one right here is aliens exist and Trump almost let it slip, says Israeli professor and former space official. A former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrows shooting heavenward by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from, quote, a galactic federation.
Right. Quote, I've been saying.
unidentified flying
Well, beam
objects
me up.
have asked not to publish that they are here. Humanity is not ready yet. Haim Ishad, former head of Israel's Defense Ministry's Space Directorate, told Israel's. It sounds like it's spelled like it's Yediot, which I'm sure you're not supposed to pronounce it as Yediot. But it is kind of fun to say it like that.
It does seem that way.
Aronot newspaper. The interview in Hebrew ran on Friday and gained traction after parts were published in English by the Jerusalem Post on Tuesday. The respected professor and retired general, Ishad, said aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand, quote, the fabric of the universe. This is the money part. You thought it was crazy before this? Here's the money.
Okay.
Ishad said cooperation agreements have been signed between species, including, quote, an underground base in the depths of Mars, where there are American astronauts and alien representatives. Quote, there is an agreement between U.S. governments and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments there, unquote, he said. So not only is there a galactic federation, but there is in the depths of Mars, and I don't know why Mars. I don't know why they just couldn't be doing experiments here, but it's Mars, I guess. And so it makes the story saucier that there's like an underground complex where scientists and aliens are doing experiments.
Well, real quick, I just want to point out in the movie Doom, they have an experimental base on Mars, and the reason why is because that's where they're testing weapons. So you wouldn't want aliens and humans working together to test super bioweapons or super nuclear weapons and have one of those things get out here or explode here. So to do it there would be smarter in that situation. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. If I were me, that's what I would do. If I could.
Somebody's been watching too many episodes of Men in Black.
The conspiracy theorists are already picking up on this. I told you guys I read this on Facebook. So I read that article. I also read some interesting posts by people claiming that this is the exact reason Donald Trump created Space Force, and he is brilliant and a military genius, and we're going to wage war against the aliens and get our freedoms in space. People are crazy. People are crazy.
Let me be the painful reality check, like I always am. So, if in the hypothetical sense we came into contact with aliens, their technology would probably just be so much more advanced than ours, to the point that it would be unfathomable. We have not been very technologically savvy at all for very long. We could be talking about a species of whatever that has been around for millions of years, zipping across doing whatever. I mean, so first off, I don't even think we would be even worthy of their time. That's my own personal opinion on that. But second off, we wouldn't stand a chance in hell if we decided to go take our sticks and throw it at it.
It's
I have various opinions on that. One is that, you're right, but the deal is there's like hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of star systems, each with tens of planets. Could we're talking trillions and trillions. All right, so if we were there, what I'm trying to say is there are all of them. We're going to run into some alien. It could be somebody of nearly equal technology to us at, one of the nearby stars. It could be somebody like you say, Daniel. They could be here and we just don't know. We don't recognize their technology. They're just so far beyond us. But the odds are that if there's either one of them, what's the likelihood that we'd run into either one of them?
Well, that, and also what's the likelihood of us being nothing special on their radar?
True enough.
Yeah, you could think of it if you could go full nerd. Think Star Trek.
by that same point, there's bound to be so many of them out there that some of them are looking and some of them don't give a damn. Some of them are about our technology. Some of them are far beyond us. Some of them are like cavemen, but they're sentient. I'm just saying there's so many that the scale of what they are and what they want. That's why people say, if we run into aliens, they're going to be hostile. Well, maybe, but there's such a scale. Sure, some of them are probably hostile. Some of them are probably benevolent. It's just like, what are we close to, or what's likely to have, if we're using a lot of if here. I smell a lot of if coming off of this, because I'm not really one who believes so much in that they're coming here.
Well, and you're right. I mean, so we really only have to worry about our galaxy. It's nearly like theoretically impossible unless you've got some major wormholes going on to get from one galaxy to the next. But even within our own galaxy, the probabilities of life being out there is there's probably several civilizations out there. Now, do they have the capability of getting here? And would they see us as a threat?
As worthy?
I would probably think not. They might, our technology is new. Their technology would have to be very old to get here. So, they've been dealing with it for a very long time. Understanding the fabrics of the universe. If they got here, I think they understand them pretty well.
Makes me wonder. Is do you think if they are, just for hypothetical reasons, I wonder, do they maybe look at us the same way we in the first world look at third world tribes and study them? And look at us as these nomadic savages.
I think maybe another comparison would be how we looked at octopus.
There we go. Yeah.
Without all the answers.
And that maybe what's looking at us is octopuses, I think it is.
So, by the way, this gentleman, this retired professor, or this person who is reporting about aliens, he has a book out, of course, and you can find all about it in his book.
Well, and that's the thing that I don't trust about this is this an Israeli dude, and he had a position, but nobody's going to come out and let out this information unless the Israelite government wanted them to. And he's got a book out there. I know that Trump did come close to saying whether or not the government thinks that there's aliens. So he talked about asking about it. He is an idiot, but I like I said, I'm personally with you, Chris. I think that they're out there, but I'm not, until I see it, I'm not going to believe that they're coming here.
See, that's where I'm at. Until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. However, Andy Hall was researching and talking about a warp type drive that we're in the process of currently developing. If it worked, that would mean a civilization wouldn't necessarily require being too much more advanced than we are to get faster than light speed. It's one of those the Alcubierre drive. The name again, the Albuquerque drive.
It's one of those things that are just on paper. No one's setting up, any engineering test.
They're throwing around the words theoretically possible. They were, it was some. They were doing some good for us.
I think it's technology, probably, definitely within the next couple of 100 years, humanity will see if we make it that far.
It's just like Einstein, how he predicted gravitational waves. I mean, back in the day, it seemed, like almost science, or physics novelty. Just something that worked in math, but probably they, didn't actually. They didn't really think could be a thing, just like black holes were. Now we've taken pictures of black holes and we've measured gravitational waves. So, I mean, welcome to the 21st century.
There was that whole sound barrier. It may not be as hard as we kind of realize once we understand the proper physics to get, and I'm not talking about going faster than light in space, but, one of those other type of technologies that they're talking about was warping space, whatever.
Well, since you did mention the sound barrier, I would say rest in peace, Chuck Yeager.
Rest in peace, Chuck Yeager. That's right. Huh? Yep.
Man who was the pilot, broke the sound barrier.
Yep.
And it's faster than a speeding bullet.
Indeed.
That's right. Yeah. So there are things that are kind of, when it comes to these things, I don't know. It's hard to say if it's possible. Then it, we could be all wrong. We're all skeptics because our hand has been smacked by reality so many times to say, oh, no. So I'll believe statistically that, man, it's got to be possible that there's at least other life out there. We are proof it can happen. But whether they're coming here and ripping the lips and assholes off of cows and probing rednecks, I really can't be sold on that. I just don't know that that's really a thing,
I was thinking about this, and I think it's highly possible that we as a species are just Dunning-Krugering ourselves in a sense. And the Dunning-Kruger effect is the incompetent don't realize that they're incompetent because they're incompetent. And I'm wondering, are we just really thinking that we're intelligent?
So here's something that I also like to bring up. The appeal to the authority. This reminds me a lot of what happened back in the 70s with Linus Pauling and vitamin C. You had a guy who was a 2-time Nobel Prize winning chemist who just flew off the deep end and effectively said vitamin C will cure everything, and the media went nuts over it. Yeah. So, I mean, anytime you have some prominent figure go off the deep end and pull something out of his rear end, suddenly the media loses their minds. Yeah, and this is the same kind of thing.
No, you're totally right. Hey, I should mention this is the chance to talk about the phone line if anyone wants to call in and talk about aliens or anything else. 940-326-7469. It's in the chat. If you want to call in.
Give us a call. We'll talk aliens.
Or whatever. Yes. God aliens.
Or whatever. God aliens.
What scares me is that they're only probing the rednecks. Like, they need to be probing the New York liberals so they can see what we're about,
I mean, like, take me to your leader. Well,
it was funny when the governor. When someone brought up, the cows were having their lips and their anus removed and whatnot.
Yes.
It was funny how I think it was a wildlife biologist that pointed out that if you look at scavengers and their behavior, the first things that they eat are the soft tiddly bits, which usually are the lips and the anus.
Yeah.
If you want to see a funny, horrible video, there's a video of a hyena getting the worst end in the world from an elephant that died.
No.
That's a pretty funny video.
I've heard that too. And the whole thing, you guys remember back in the 70s, there was this rash of cows that were violated. And then there was all the abductees. You remember Dan Aykroyd, man. Dan Aykroyd went on national television. His whole thing was to watch people get them on camera and just flail back and forth and have these. It was so embarrassing to watch.
We just have to accept.
Shameful.
I mean, just like we just have to accept that society has these hysterical moments, right? There's like mass hysteria, whether you're talking about satanic panic or cow molestations. I don't know that they just seem to bubble up. I'm not saying that aliens are one of those mass hysteria.
QAnon comes to mind right now.
Yeah. Boomer Hughes got it in the chat. He says the UN changed marijuana classifications a week before the U.S. Congress did. That was a lizard move. The lizard people are in control.
I'm looking around for Von Helton. No. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's something that, again, we have a Space Force now. What do we have a Space Force for? What's the purpose?
We have a name. We don't exactly have X-wings going around doing anything right now.
Right. No, what's that guy? But I'm not curious what the purpose and mission of this.
Well, it's meant to be a distraction, just like most other things in the Trump administration. I can't believe it's taken us this long to actually get.
I wonder.
Talk about Trump that much, but yeah, it is Space Force, just another distraction.
It's a shiny object.
Well,
oddly enough, and I never thought this would really be the case, but whenever we talk about this story that's breaking, and this Israeli scientist who's now coming forward, and blah 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 blah, I didn't make it happen. Trump's name come up. I didn't do it. The scientist did it. And somehow Trump got drug into this, and we can talk about him because of us.
I'll tell you why they probably put Trump into the story. Because this guy, this is when I write satirical stories, I think about keywords and what keywords show up in Google search. So I'm not saying this is definite, but if I was this gentleman who's trying to sell books, then I would try to put Donald Trump into the mix, just because it's sizzle in terms of people go, oh, Trump knows about it. So a lot of supporters are going to want to buy the book, and it'll pop up on Google search a little bit easier. And
well,
so that's
going into the psychology part, and dovetailing off you there, these his supporters are known for being conspiracy theorists, and they'll believe some pretty far out stuff. I mean, QAnon is a great example of that. So this is not much of a stretch.
But wait! Doesn't I've got somebody, I'm going to try to say it, Bahram-U podcast, and my own podcast says NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. See.
Well played, conspiracy theorist. Well played.
I mean, I have an applause.
And when it comes to conspiracy, when it comes to conspiracy theories, aliens are as old as you get. I mean, they've been talking about this crap, reptiles in the center of the earth, and I mean, they've been talking about this for forever. Yeah. So you're just playing. I mean, Trump's base is who you're trying to sell your book to. So of course you're going to bring them into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, these are people who are.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, these are people who are primed to distrust any authority figure, so they want to think that there is some deep conspiracy. It's just who they are. I mean,
right.
It's like make a mold of a person, and they just fit right there.
No, Daniel, I don't know if you've heard this. I was watching a video by Michael Shermer about, and this was done about 2 years ago, when the DoD released some videos about UFOs, basically. And Shermer pointed out that there seems to be some kind of human need to believe in something that makes you feel good inside. And for religious people, it's God. And for non-religious people, or people who are less religious, they typically turn to aliens. I mean, if you're going to have that need, and if you're going to believe in something, while religious people turn to like angels, divine creatures, non-religious people tend to go with aliens. Do you know anything about
the other
that?
one that gets me is the term UFO. I mean, for some reason you say the word UFO and automatically people think aliens. It's like, but what does UFO stand for? Unidentified flying object, which means effectively is we see something and we just don't know what it is. There's just not an explanation, and that's that whole great leap that a lot of theists do. It's we don't know, therefore God. So now what Andy's saying is we don't know, therefore aliens.
Okay. Yeah. Well, guys, we've got a caller from Texas. His name is Joe from Texas, and he would like to talk about aliens. I want to pop Joe in here. Good morning, Joe. How are you doing? Can you hear us?
Yes. What's up, Chris?
Solid labor, man. How are you doing this morning? I lost you. Sorry.
Not doing too bad.
Good. Glad to hear it. You want to talk about some aliens? I hit the wrong button. I blacked everything out. I'm learning a new system, but you're back now. Doing good. So you want to talk about some aliens with us, huh? Did they drop you off? Take you away?
That would be pretty awesome. But it's less spectacular than that.
Okay.
But you're talking to the guy. My name is Yo. And I'm the one who goes by the handle Yo Natural Atheist.
Way to go, Yo. Nice to have you. Yeah, you've been stalking our chat for months now. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Yo?
Yeah, I've been there since the beginning. I just enjoy y'all's conversations.
That's wonderful. In the beginning, there was darkness and Yo.
Right?
So do you what are your thoughts, if we may, what are your thoughts, Yo, on aliens? What do you mean, aliens? That's a quote from Paul. Sorry. Y'all go ahead.
I think the things that I've seen in the sky that move in strange ways are something that we're working on. I don't really buy the whole alien narrative. I think people are just looking for an explanation for things that, you know, that they see. I have seen things moving in the sky. I've been with a group of people and seen things moving in the sky in ways that cannot be explained, not by our science. People couldn't handle the G-forces. Like, I grew up in Clear Lake near NASA. I've been to so many air shows. I know there's a lot of information that we don't get to know. There's a lot of technology that we don't get to ever see, you know?
Yeah. You're in Texas, right? You ever been to the Marfa Lights to see the Marfa Lights?
What's that?
Have you ever been down to Marfa to see the Marfa Lights?
Marfa Lights? I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, so there's this down in Marfa, Texas, Marfa, I believe. There's this for 50 years or so. They see these lights. So you can go down there and sit on this certain highway and look off to a certain way at night, and you'll see these lights do this thing on the regular, apparently. Me and my first wife went down there many moons ago, back in the day. Did we have cars? Yeah, we had cars. And we didn't really see any lights. If I would think there's because there is a mountain over there, I think it's like a road going up a mountain, and there's tail lights or something that they're probably seeing, but who knows for sure. But yeah, Marfa Lights, not far from you. Anyway, you were
interesting. I'll be looking that up.
There's plenty of upper atmospheric phenomenon that are rather peculiar that'll do things.
Right.
You know, sprites are one. High altitude electrical activity. There are also, for instance, when you go over by areas that are geologically active, you'll see activity also along those lines that look like lights. Usually it's a green glow. It's just one of those kinds of things. Just because we don't have an explanation doesn't mean there's not an explanation. We just don't know it. But that's where we have to be careful not to make that great leap of, I don't know, therefore.
Right. Well, yeah, and a lot of these sightings do tend to happen around U.S. military bases, especially Air Force bases, where they probably are testing new technology. And with drones now, drones are doing more and more, and they have lights, and they're getting like I've seen these amazing light shows being done with drones now that they can do insane things. So yeah, I think a lot of what we're seeing is just it's human made. It's not extraterrestrial, but they are UFOs, unidentified flying objects, as Daniel was speaking of earlier.
I'm just one of those who think that I hope that one day, I'm hopeful. I look forward to us advancing as a civilization to the point to where we colonize other worlds and take our hate and ugliness there to seek out new life and new ways to kill it. To
I'm
boldly oppress when no one is oppressed before.
I am just hoping for space socialism.
You know, Nokasuchi just reminded me.
Good one.
Nokasuchi just reminded me of something that what me and my wife were talking about, and I was like, you know, it would make more sense if aliens using drones, not actually coming here. Because to travel that distance and the body, if aliens are biological life forms like us, it's not going to be able to handle the distance and or the speed.
Of course, depending on the type of technology that they use to blah, blah, blah. What it may be, though, oftentimes they may have larger, again, lots of if here, larger vessel out in orbit or something, a large, huge vessel with an intergalactic type engine or intersolar engine. And the smaller vessels that we see in our environment, those would actually be drones or something doing the thing that's all crazy. I could see that more than there actually being creatures in there surviving that kind of
the old conspiracy theory is that the moon is hollow and the aliens live there, right?
Yeah.
And not, like, this is like the first time that I'm hearing that they're in the center of Mars. Like the conspiracy theorists are expanding across the solar system now. That's encouraging. They're getting more creative.
Well, have you guys heard the what was it, the 60s and 70s conspiracy theories of the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases where they're just deep, huge city-like things that have tunnels. That, like the technology we've got.
Ancient astronauts did something on that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, that was something when I was younger. I used to really be into that, looking for anything I could find that may bring this stuff to reality, because you never know. It may actually be true. We could be wrong. I would love to be wrong. But then, I watched all these things. I was like, oh man, look at this evidence and look at this evidence. And one day I watched this video. It was like 3 hours long, and it went over all these things and explained, well, this is why they carved this into the top of this tomb. It's not a guy in a spacecraft. It's a holy tree, and he's climbing the tree. And none of this has anything to do. And they kind of debunked all of my notions of ancient astronauts. And I was like, sad, Chris.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be truthful to myself. I want proof. I don't want to be an idiot. I want to say I believe it's possible rather than just eating it up.
I definitely think it's a lot more logical that if the God stories are true, that they are myths carried over from something like aliens coming here and starting life. I think that's far more logical and within materialism for that to, within a materialist worldview for that to happen.
No doubt about that. Aliens are much more likely to be real than God or any gods for that matter.
Yeah. Well, there's also that other, since we take that numbers game, what are the odds of there being a live alien or God, right? Or aliens are real?
Drake equation. Who knows about the Drake equation? I'm sure Daniel knows stuff.
Yeah, and you also got the Fermi paradox as well.
Yes. Well, see, again, like the Fermi paradox. So some guy, how long has that been around? How long has the Drake equation been around? These kind of things have been around by guys. But like Daniel said earlier, these technologies may be so far beyond us, we may not just see it. We just may not be able to see it. If there's a technology of our level, anywhere far beyond where we are, I mean, we're not going to see it. So to claim that they're not there is silly. To say we can't see other us's 50 light years away, 100 light years away is just silly, because we just don't have the technology yet. But
if I may.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know exactly who made this quote, but I know it's a famous quote, and someone could probably quote me on it, quote whoever it was. But it goes along the lines of any significantly advanced technology can be indistinguishable as being magic, essentially.
Yeah, we get that. I know that. But what I'm saying is that they would be so far. The notion like Fermi's paradox that we can't see them. Oh, they can't be there. Oh no, where are they? Since we can't see them, they must not be there. Well, again, like you just said, it may be so far beyond us we can't see them. What if they transfer their technology, their intelligence into like a computer and just have that? I mean, I don't know what they do, but the notion that we even have the technology to detect them at all. Well, and since we can't detect them, they can't be there.
What do we even look for? Like, what are we even looking for? Because if you think you're going to see ships flying through space, you're never going to see that.
That's only a percentage of what's possible.
I think that they're starting to hone down like things that might be possible for an advanced civilization, right? So like we're looking at stars now, and if you can see some kind of unnatural activity going within a star, then maybe that would indicate some kind of advanced civilization tapping into that star. And I think we're just starting to look for this. So again, it's like as technology gets better and better and better, we'll be able to answer a lot of these questions. And right now we just can't.
Gotcha. I'm going to go ahead and let Yo go for now and pull in another caller. Thank you for joining us, Yo.
Thanks, Yo.
We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
That was wonderful. Thank you for calling us. I'm gonna let's go ahead and drop Yo. Thank you, Yo. And we're bringing in John to talk about aliens. Let me see here, John. Hello, John.
All right. Now my router's having issues. My daughter doesn't have internet for her class, so I'll be right back. I've got to dip out again.
Okay. Hey, John. Can you hear us?
I don't believe in aliens. I looked into the Drake equation, and it consists of variables that they have no idea how, just random. They don't know the variables to the direct equation. I don't think there's any chance that aliens exist.
Well, that's okay.
It's funny, that. If about 15 years of off and on marriage therapy has taught me one thing, is that I try not to use the word never or always. Now, that might be a logical fallacy and maybe a crappy joke, but I am hesitant to use the word always or never.
Yeah, so, I'm learning. We lost the caller. Just after he made his statement, we lost him.
That's sad. That's unfortunate.
One of the things that I like to point out is people like to talk about intelligent space aliens all the time, but it took 500 million years for single-celled life forms to become us. We could find pond scum possibly in our own solar system. We could even find maybe simple organisms in our own solar system, and that could be common. I mean, finding complex life rare, intelligent life exceedingly rare.
Right.
So the situation had to be perfect for us to come along. I mean, we had to lose the dinosaurs for the non-avian dinosaurs. I know there's some biologists in there that's going to yell at the screen by me saying that. Right. But we had to lose the non-avian dinosaurs for us to have even a hairball's chance.
But there's no need that they. So let's say they didn't lose the dinosaurs; they just evolved into an intelligent species on their own. Then we have reptilian overlords.
That's it right there.
I'm not as dumb as I look.
We solved it.
Daniel, you raised too is that it took a couple of billion years for us to get to this level of stupidity or intelligence, no matter how you depends on how you look at it in terms of Homo sapiens. And that seems to me a long time. And when you look back at our own planetary history, a lot of fluky moments. The asteroid or the comet, hitting the Yucatan, wiping out the dinosaurs, allowing mammals to, without bulbous brains, to show up. Very fluky. A lot of chance involved with the rise of mammals.
There's a lot of things that happened prior to. I mean, there's the Permian extinction. There was tons and tons of other extinction events. I mean, it's just how for us to have come to a point we are. I look at it as okay, if intelligent life, was biological and in the way that we could, say carbon based.
Almost like it was guided by a creator.
Oh boy!
I see.
I mean, the way you guys are going at this, just so many things had to happen for that. Well, for any outcome, no matter what. Even if the dinosaurs had not died, and we were all sitting here with reptilian scales, we could be having that exact same. Well, just imagine had we died off. It's like.
Have you ever thought the universe was fine-tuned? Have you ever thought about that?
Fine, it was perfect just for us. It's perfect.
That's right.
That's why we only can survive on 2% of this planet.
That's right.
I remember in my 2013 book, I was talking about that in my 2013 book, and I was like, anybody who believes that this planet was created for us, a perfect place for us, we should just drop their naked bare ass somewhere in the Arctic or in the Amazon and just say go for it and see how long they last. I mean, it'd be a short thing.
Yeah, I remember in statistics, one of the things that I learned was never to underestimate the possibility of chance.
Right.
Well, after I just finished rereading Jerry Coyne's classic book, Why Evolution is True, he mentions a couple of times that, given enough trials, given enough chances, given enough time, the possible becomes the probable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you might have a very low chance of something happening, but day after day, year after year, eon after eon, then that possibility becomes more probable to happen.
Yeah, if you have 6 dice and you want to have all land on 6, I mean, it's going to take a while to happen, but it will happen eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
True enough. Yeah. Again, with that spectrum of things, there's so many. Again, if there's aliens out there, there's going to be a whole bunch of different kinds. To say if we run into aliens, they're going to be evil is kind of narrow-minded. There's going to be evil. There's just going to be a spectrum.
Well,
I suspect if there's aliens.
You know, when you consider that our sense of morality is based on primate predispositions towards, you know, us working in a herd, us working in pods. You know, I don't want to get all Nietzschean here, but the idea that the aliens would
also have evolved in pods.
life.
We've got lots of different species here on our planet that do that.
Right. Well, and the
humans.
thing is, if we were, let's say we had hyper intelligent bees, right? Let's say bees somehow became, you know, their sense of right and wrong would be very different because they just come from
communists.
There'd be a bunch of communists, maybe fascists. I mean, I don't know.
True, they would be fascists. You're right. They'd be one ruler.
Again,
One
you know,
rule.
it depends on the various circumstances of their evolution, on their planet, on their whatever.
Like Geonosis from Star Wars.
Yeah, the hope, like that. The hope, though, the notion that we're going to run into aliens that look like us. I mean, man, that's way, way out there. Unless aliens, because we have been running around for what 100 to 200,000 years. Unless somehow some extraterrestrials took us out there and put us, you're not going to find us out there. We're just not going to be found. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that's the only way you're going to find something like us out there is if somebody came and took us out.
Unless they seeded us. If they seeded this planet to begin with and life sprouted naturally,
something like that. Yeah. Well, the point is you're not going to find another evolved creature. If they seeded, like Andy said, let's take Andy's example earlier. They seeded this planet, but the dinosaurs died off.
Yeah.
They seeded another planet, but the dinosaurs didn't die off. Even if they seeded the planets, the likelihood that they would get something that looks like us is extremely unlikely. Now, if they seeded at the monkey level or something, that's something. Go ahead, Andy.
Well, that was my point, Chris, was that at what point did they seed us? What about all the fossil history of
absolutely, it would have to be at the very beginning.
All of our cousins and relatives. Where does the seeding begin? Does it begin with just them dumping DNA replicators, basic DNA replicators?
I got the answer.
Damn dinos, always debunking stuff.
There was an alien that visited primordial Earth 4.5 billion years ago. He had a cold and he sneezed.
That's it.
Distant sound of thunder. That's what you're saying, brother.
And we'll name the guy Bob.
Right,
Bob. That's right. But that's the case. If they had seeded it, and we've got dragons in Genesis. Jason is joining us on the phone. Hi, Jason. Had they seeded it like that, then we wouldn't be this. They would actually have to take something like us and carry it to another planet, and then we go out there and we find it. We're like, oh, hey, you look like us. That's all that's going. Now on our planet we have all the evolution. On their planet, they may, if they look at their fossil record, if there's life, they may go, you know what? There's no us, or there's us, and then no us. Where did we come from? That would be their circumstance. We would be the home planet that seeded thusly the other planets. We lost him. Where are you?
We
Jason?
are an ever-growing circle of blight, our species, and so yes, maybe someday we will be able to spread that the virus of humanity to other planets. And that's me being positive, by the way. You know, maybe we'll be able to pull it together.
Feel bad
maybe
for the universe.
Jason now.
Yeah.
We have Jason now.
Start sending your apology letters now to the universe.
Yeah, you have a bad
Jason,
case of humans. It's terminal.
Hey,
all right,
Jason.
We can hear you. See, ancient aliens. Mm-hmm. Von Daniken,
Yep.
yeah.
Chariots of the gods.
Chariots of the gods.
Chariots of the gods, yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't he translate the scrolls or something? Sorry, go ahead. Sumerian text. I know, I get nosebleeds just listening to it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Parts it. He reads translations and then fills in gaps, with his own ideas. But he was
There's
on a
no audio
podcast
coming through.
called-
I got it. I already got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So yeah, he was on a podcast a while back called The Unexplained, and it has the host is named Howard Hughes. And anyway, he's on this thing I think twice, and in his first appearance on that show, and you can go back and find it. It's still on there. It's called The Unexplained.
Mm.
In his first interview on there, he says that when he was in school, in his little Catholic school in whatever country he grew up in, he was having trouble understanding history, and he was also having trouble in his Bible study classes. And his problem was that his history and his Bible didn't match up. And so he created the idea of ancient aliens to reconcile the differences. So
Great leap.
the History Channel, Ancient Aliens, literally came from a man who didn't understand history, didn't understand the Bible, and made up stories to try to understand both. And those are his words. You can listen to the interview. He literally says he didn't understand those two classes, so he came up with something to fix the problem. And that's where all of this started. And
So
that's
he was trying
hilarious.
to harmonize. He was trying to harmonize science and the Bible, or history and the Bible.
Yeah.
Another great.
Yes. It's and not just harmonize it, but he also said that he just had trouble grasping either concept. So it wasn't just that they disagreed with one another; it's that he didn't understand history class and biblical studies.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
not good. That's not good
That's
for
not
him.
good. That's kind of interesting. I got another story. I'm going to make a note about it real quick. Jason, I'm going to thank you for that. I've got another caller. I'm going to swap you out with them real quick. We're getting near the end of the show. Thank you for calling and enlightening
man.
us.
Oh, all
Thank
right,
you.
man. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Take care.
And it looks like who are we going to? The next person is Maxwell, I believe. And let me do that. And now come over here and bring Maxwell into the show. Can you hear us, Maxwell?
Hey, good morning. Yes, good morning,
Awesome.
gentlemen. How are we doing?
Doing
All
good.
right.
And you? How are you doing?
It's way early on the West Coast. That's all I got to say.
Crazy. Yeah, Daniel, he shares your pain.
I'm cheating. I'm actually Daniel's big bro, so
Oh,
that's why I'm checking in on the episode tonight or this morning. So I don't read a lot of books in regards to aliens and that sort of thing, except for fiction stuff, because I'm a sci-fi geek. I watch
Me too.
sci-fi movies. I watch sci-fi TV shows. The ones that are the most interesting are the ones that show aliens as being diverse. Showing
yeah.
that you have aliens that are good and bad. So for some reason, during the 90s, when we had the X-Files, there was this construct of having aliens that all thought exactly the same way. And
Yeah.
that sort of permeated into everybody's opinions that aliens all thought the same exact way.
Right.
And that they were all out to get the cows and the rednecks, and that
Right.
was the only importance that they
Right.
saw in us.
Right. Right. But
When in
you know,
fact, it's like, go ahead.
No. I was going to let you finish. Sorry.
Well, in fact, it's like a good example of probably one of the best representations of what a alien civilization could be would be Howard the Duck. Because Howard the Duck at the beginning of that movie showed all different
Good one.
types of duck aliens doing different stuff, much like humans are. that we're all very diverse.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know,
so
if you're
it's
gonna
like we get caught up in this idea that, oh, the aliens are coming, but the bad guys are coming, the boogeyman's coming, because they're all one thing. No, they're not. They're diverse. They all have different idioms.
That's exactly what I've been arguing. There would be such a spectrum of, you're going to find good ones and bad ones and nice ones, and if they're out there, if they're real, you're going to have a whole.
Where
you know.
where you?
Let me send a shiver down all your spines. Alien Trump supporters.
Oh yeah. What were you gonna say, Andy?
How you see the play depends on where you sit. So let's say you're in on the subcontinent in India, and you're interacting with the British Empire. Sure, there might be a lot of Brits who are nice people, who are, there's a wide diversity of Brits. However, as you engage with imperialism, there seems to be one there seems to be one narrative, at least when you're the natives interacting with people with superior technology, at least in that case. So sure, there might be diversity within British imperialism between people in the British Empire, but how they interact with you might be very specific and one-sided.
Gotcha.
Well, I think that there's something to that narrative, and it wasn't just the X-Files, but you had the X-Files and Unsolved Mysteries at the time, really spinning this narrative about what aliens were and what they were doing to people. That progressed into bigger and brighter things with the ancient astronaut theory, and that has morphed into all these little shows, the real X-Files, or so it's become part of pop culture now, to where. People that have read science fiction all along, they might think of aliens completely differently.
Right. Well, it's become so much in our pop culture and in our culture that this notion that our society and humanity is not ready to learn about aliens is just stupid. But even in the article Andy was reading, they're like, the aliens don't want us to talk about it because they don't think humanity's ready for this kind of I'm like, really? You're just dumb. Maybe in the 1920s or 30s, but today it's a little different. We are ready.
I don't want to underestimate our stupidity.
Well, that's true. Okay, you win that one. You win that. I just meant like
I'm right there with you.
Okay, yeah. You're true enough. Look out, cows.
At least America's ability to be stupid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Maxwell, for calling in on the show. Thank you, Jason from Dragons and Genesis, for calling in. Maxwell, have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and shut your thing down and do the thing at the place. Have a good one.
Take care.
Thanks, you guys.
Take care.
I'll learn how to I'll get all this figured out. I won't sound so awkward later. I'll just bounce their asses. Thank you all. Thank you to everybody in the damn nation for watching today. Andy, what do you got going on? Don't forget, don't run off yet, guys. We got a commercial we're going to run. Andy, what do you got going on?
I am dropping another comedy show today. I am also dropping a segment. I was on the Harmonic Atheists channel a couple of weeks ago. I made a clip out of that with his permission, of course. I'm dropping that on my channel. Awesome. Dale McGowan is going to be coming on my channel pretty soon to talk about Christmas music. Well, holiday music, should I say. We're going to be talking about holiday music. And Dale is brilliant. And he's been on my channel a number of times. And he runs a podcast. He is the non-religious channel person. He oversees the non-religious channel person on Pathos, where my blog, Laughing in Disbelief, is situated in. So that'll be coming up soon. When I have a definite date, I will let you all know.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Nokasuchi, how about you? You got anything going on?
Oh yeah, always a ton. At noon, I'll be streaming what I was supposed to be streaming yesterday, but I had no internet, and so we'll be doing Matt Powell's movie review part 3. Always fun. At 7 p.m. tonight, we have an open room where Darth Dawkins is supposed to come and challenge me and John. So we'll see if he shows. I'm predicting he doesn't. Tomorrow at 1, I have S.J. Thomason and C.J. Cox coming on to have a conversation with me and John. That'll be a good one. And I wasn't here yesterday morning because I had internet when the show was on. But I was up late the night before yelling at Smokey Saint for the things he posted in the comment during the show. In the comments during the show on Monday, so that'll be coming out at some point as well. If you want to see me cuss out Smokey Saint, so yeah, lots going on at the Rage.
Gotcha. Sounds like fun. Well, thank you, Daniel, for joining us. Thank you, everybody. Andy, Nokasuchi, everybody in the chat. Here we go with our video. I'm going to switch it up. I like this one here. Where did my thing go? My thing is being grumpy this morning. There we go. You guys have a great day. See you tomorrow. Hello, all. Chris Mallard here, atheist extraordinaire, host of the Daily Atheist Morning Show, and currently burning in hell. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not dead. I'm just down here for the annual Christmas party. I mean, annual solstice awards party. The Dark One, or Lucy as he is affectionately known, is personally handing out the awards. Aaron Ra is getting the award for the most souls brought down by evolution for his African fossil hunt, and Matt Dillahunty has won the Golden Phallus Award for being a dick to the most Christians. Oh, wait. It's the Golden Fallacy Award for the confusing the most Christians. Easy mistake to make. To top it off, Seth Andrews has lent his voice to the Gregorian chants this year. It's delightfully hellish. Gotta run. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving, if you're into that sort of thing, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I mean, a happy holidays, happy solstice, and a happy new year. Stay safe, heathens. Party hard, fornicate, that sort of thing, but do it safely. Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Cindy Plaza and Ian Davenport. Thank you and have a great day.